would be to the point where like there were Twitter threads that all the fucking high school kids in my hometown were following, like, oh, the shit has struck again today, number 7. So, like,
why did they give him a cooler name?
The detective assigned to the case.
Like,
I'm gonna find this guy.
I've dedicated my whole life to this. My marriage is at risk.
He's had popcorn today.
He had an abnormal amount of corn today, which means he can only be near the organic garden.
There's an awful lot of blood in this store.
Where is the closest Chipotle? And I need the list of everybody that shopped there that evening.
go check the school nurse's records and give me the name of every kid with IBS.
Check that. And all the kids that are lactose intolerant. They were serving ice cream as dessert
You need
today.
to cross-reference those with gluten intolerance.
Was it ever?
Make me a matrix.
Did it ever become known? Was this mystery ever solved?
No,
Dude,
that's the best part,
what year
man.
was this?
Sitting there
What
right
year
next.
was
I
this?
got away with
This
it.
guy shit off into the sunset, bro. This was
He rode his brown lumpy turd off into the sunset.
Okay.
Well, no, you got to put something on that's like chill, like the last one.
Oh, you want something chill?
Yeah.
Remember when my first meal was school lunch? Now I spit a 16 straight with no punch. Remember all for dinner, all we ate was Captain Crunch. Now we blow big blunts on our way to brunch. Went from good fella to commissary slips. Now I got back up every time I slipped. Never ever quit, I just kept on pursuing. Teacher always asked me, what was I doing? Scribbled in my notebook and never did homework. Low attention spans, guess these Adderall.
Hey, we're back for another episode of the show. We had so much fun last time. Why not do it again?
Fucking time.
Welcome to that's
freaking awesome with Seth and Kyle.
And I'm Kyle. And we
With
are
special guest.
We get a special guest. You want to introduce the guest?
Second episode, special guest. He is the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, yeah.
At least in our world.
Oh yeah.
He's our best friend.
Get him.
Fucking Logan Wilson. Let's go.
me on, guys.
How you doing, man? Oh God.
friend.
What's going on?
I don't
How are you?
know, but I bumped something. There we go. You bumped something. Holy shit. All right. How you boys doing?
Great.
You're looking good.
Logan, how's life? How you been?
Chilling, my friend. I'm getting out of my $58,000 shithole home here really soon. Hoping that it sells before my life and the floor and everything else in it collapse.
Always a good thing.
Sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, exactly.
I just gotta get out from under it before it comes out under me.
Like that, dude. That's a sales pitch. That's how you sell the house. Like, how's the house?
It'll be great. Once you fix the floors, the walls,
Take it from me. Please take it.
the roof, the roaches, the termites.
No, that's like you got it. You're at that point. Like we've said it 100 times. You gotta get out of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was a smart. Your mind was in the right place. Your brain was in the right place when you decided to buy it because you came to this city saying, "I'm going to own this city."
Yeah. Well,
And you said,
I'm
Is that what
gonna
you
come in here, fuck up some commas.
that's what he said.
1 comma
I
to be
was-
exactly.
You thought that it was your two first interaction.
4 figures.
You guys thought that was your first interaction, but really, like, I was a fly on the wall, and Logan goes, "I'm gonna fuck this city. I'm gonna buy all the property, and then I'm gonna be a fucking rental lord."
No, this is a serious question though. In that house, is there any part of that house that you're gonna like that's hard for you to get rid of? You're like, is it the location? Is it anything that's you're like, God, I really like this. I can't find anything like that.
Oh, dude, the garage. I mean, the garage is bigger than the house itself. So, there was dreams of making that the full studio, renovating that shit to the nines. But
Both of you dudes have huge garages. His garage is huge too.
No, don't even lie.
is this a euphemism, Kyle?
No, man.
No, don't lie. You say studio, but what you really mean is underground fight club.
Totally.
Hey, look, man, you could get an entire like commercial grade UFC ring on the Fort Wayne fucking Facebook Marketplace listings
Address
for about $6,000.
You're like, hey man, it's like $2,000 a piece. We should do it. It's lucrative.
Look, man, we've done the math, and if you get $10 a head, and we account for what 50 people at the show, that's $500. If we do that 12 times once a month, it pays for itself.
Like, you know how I know you? Tell me you were in a frat without telling me you were in a frat. How do we pay for our rent? I got an idea.
Fight Club.
I got a fucking plan.
Beta class
12 months,
president
break
Phi
even.
Kappa Sigma. Thank you, sir.
He's good with the money. We like this kid. He's good with
12
the
months
money.
we break even, buddy.
Yeah. Hear me out. Technically, we're supposed to have a license, but hear me out.
But if nobody says anything, it's not illegal until we get caught.
Oh my God.
Hey, man, I put that on my resume. My finance experience includes managing my fraternity slush fund.
Hey,
Talk about like a black book. I'm sure there's a lot of like corporate accounting. Like,
something that can't be traced.
yeah. Like, okay, no, that's like a legit question. But you were not in a frat.
No,
I was not in a frat.
I wanted to be.
I would have been.
You're right.
But
Honestly,
it just never.
I could have seen either of you guys in Greek life. Absolutely.
I don't know if that's a good.
I will say, well, the one thing that I
I
had,
don't know how I feel about that.
the one thing that happened to me though is my buddy when in college, he really wanted to go to Purdue, and I don't know if it wasn't the grades, or if it was money or whatever, but he came to the school that I was going to, IPFW at the time, and he was like, I want to go to Purdue really bad. I'm gonna get really good grades, and I'm gonna transfer. So he had a lot of connections in Purdue because a lot of his friends went there. We went down to Purdue. Went down a bunch of different frat parties. We get to this one frat party, and mind you, I rolled with like 4 or 5 other guys and like 2 chicks.
I rolled. I'm Seth
That
Hughes.
was our-
I rolled. I rolled up to this party.
So me and 3 other IU guys.
That's hot.
We go to the, I don't know. You guys aren't from the area, but you know that the IU Purdue beef runs deep, right?
Well, I mean,
They're like huge rivals.
That makes sense.
They're like huge rivals.
Yeah. Okay.
So we go to this party and we start playing and we start drinking, and all of me and my friends start out drinking these Purdue frat party. So then one of like the guys was like, hey, I want to play quarters against you guys. And they found out that we went to IU. So they went to IU and I was like an IU fan. They're like, we want to play quarters with you guys. We destroyed them at quarters. Quarters is my fucking drinking game. Like, if you guys know quarters, right?
Sure.
You know quarters? Yeah.
He's the president of a fraternity.
That's fair.
Jesus hell.
But
Does he know quarters?
yeah, but like there's different types of quarters, I guess.
He knows where the bodies are
Dude,
hidden.
I'm telling you, it was like it was like bing 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 bing. Like we got all of them in like first or second try.
Yeah.
We got them sloshed by the end of it. By the end, they were so drunk that they passed me and my friends 3 honorary fucking Purdue frat cards. And they said, if you ever go to Purdue, you guys already have a spot in this frat. So they passed out these cards, and me and my friends were like, that's fucking funny, because, you know, we go like a non-school, and like we drink fucking whiskey on the weekends, but like we all just kind of walked out. And I kept it for a while, and I'm like, oh, I have this, and just ripped it. And I'm just like, you know, one of those stories.
What is that? I mean, like, I imagine what being in a fraternity is like just as a brother, but what's it being like?
Yeah.
What's it being like one of the dudes in charge? Like, what the hell is that all? Like, do you have like the national chapter kind of like giving you some things like, you got to do this and this has to happen? Or is it just like, don't burn the house down? Like, what kind of level of oversight?
Good ask question.
There was a lot of national oversight on this one in particular, because we actually recharted the fraternity when I was on campus. So it had existed at the university for 40 years, but had actually gotten banned.
I was going to say, what do you mean they got reinstated?
What was the story? Why they get banned?
Whoa.
All right, so we'll go ahead and just cut the name of my fraternity that
Sure,
I said
yeah,
at the beginning.
they can-
Cool,
you know,
cool.
you have Google.
You were in
you
a
want to Google search it?
fraternity and you were in an area.
Like, it's not
Exactly.
you're the only fraternity that's ever gotten like kicked off camp.
Exactly.
Right.
Jesus.
So it happened twice. The first time, and this is honest to God truth, at least what I've been told from alumni who have visited. Apparently, the president in the late 70s, early 80s took all of the money and got caught up on some charge for distribution, whatever, and
It was a lot of money.
he fled the country with the entire fraternity's funds.
Is that $1 million? Is that $10 million? What is that?
The exact figure was never disclosed, but it was enough.
Ballpark?
Really?
What would your ballpark be?
I mean, shit, if you were talking, say $2,000 to $3,000 per person per semester in dues, and say you got
Over how long?
Well, it goes per semester because it's spent, right? So say you got 2 semesters of that, 100 people in there, 100 people times
It's like $500,000.
$1,000
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yep.
Shit.
Yeah,
Talk
so-
about a bake sale.
Dude, you could hey, you want to talk about Tijuana? You're gonna it's $250,000.
Oh,
We
he
knew
went
that was
right.
coming up.
Yeah, well, that's like a,
He went to Mexico with it, and they never heard from him again.
I wonder why.
I wonder where he ended up.
And then when they got reinstated, shortly after they got kicked out again, because on initiation night they had a shot-for-shot contest with the pledges and the brothers. And the brothers decided to do water shots while the pledges did vodka. And 20 deep, one of them died.
Well, yeah.
Yep. It was
You
awful.
can't go
It was a
20 deep.
tragedy.
I'm sorry, but you're not cut out for this fraternity. You're gonna have to get the fuck.
He's like, no. My dad was in this fraternity. Like, I have to be a part of it.
Jesus Christ! Holy shit! I feel like I'm gonna die. Well, you better make a
This ain't
decision.
it. If you're not a strong person, just tell me that.
I don't think you got what it takes to be a
I
part
don't
of
think
this.
you or your liver are cut out for this group, kid.
You don't have what it takes for Epsilon Z. All right.
So what kind of oversight? What were they telling you to do?
Yeah, so to clarify, I was the beta class president of it.
Was there an alpha?
Yep. So the alpha was the founding class. We were the beta class, meaning that we were the second cohort to rebuild the fraternity. And so my job was to be like the liaison for that group of guys and make sure that like all of their interests were being represented and heard to the board, who would then put that to the national board. And we had a lot of oversight because they like gave us, dude, I mean, we got an endowment for a house on University Row. And it was like first fraternity to do it within 20 to 30 years. It sounds douchey talking about it.
No, it
honestly,
sounds fucking
But that
impressive.
can't be cheap though. They had to put some
That's gonna
money
take
up.
some shit.
No, I mean, and it was buy-in from the group. And, this wasn't like some homogenous fucking, Chad bro shit going on. It was an international fraternity. It was 90% international students.
No shit.
Yeah. And so like it was actually the very first fraternity to desegregate and be multiracial before the Civil War.
Wow.
Was that a mandate of the fraternity that, okay, if you had 10 guys rush this semester, like a certain percentage of them, it was just pick who you want, regardless of what.
Exactly. And
And it wasn't a requirement that you had to be an international student. It was just they were more open to international students than other fraternities typically.
Yep, exactly. Because you had certain ones where, there were Asian fraternities and Latino fraternities, African American fraternities.
Sure. Still are, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just kind of a hodgepodge mix of interesting people, man. So it wasn't the typical bro ass experience.
Oh,
you
that
would
was
think.
my experience, and I wasn't in a fraternity because I played hockey in college.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a fraternity? We didn't have a house. We didn't call it a fraternity, but
Didn't need it.
They had a barn.
Yeah, you play.
You're in the barn.
You play hockey in college. It's a fraternity. Holy Jesus Christ! I never.
Did you have your home barn?
It's so much dick. It's just dick.
But did you call
Just
it a barn?
dicks everywhere. Yeah, our barn, their barn.
Elephant walking your way over to practice every morning.
Oh my God! Just the things that people find time to do in the showers.
There's a Jasquetsky. He's got the biggest schlong of them all.
You watch Shorzy and you're like, that's not wrong. That's why I like Shorzy, because it's fucking accurate.
He likes seeing dudes in showers.
It's
That's what he
fucking accurate. You're like okay. I'll give you one. I'll give you one shower story. Okay. So, Jesus fucking Christ. Which
Shower
one you were,
stories.
Which do you want?
You said you were going to give us one. You have multiple?
Oh, well, dude, I played hockey for 20 years. Like,
Fair.
I'll tell you something. I remember there was one guy on a team that I played with who, like, his thing was like, if we ever got a new guy on our team, which was every year we get one or two new guys, like, they'd be in the showers, and to fuck with the new guys in the showers, the very first day, he would wait until they were washing their hair. And then while they were washing their hair with their eyes closed or with soap in their eyes, he would come up behind them and he would start pissing on their ass cheek down their thigh.
What?
And just stand there pissing down their leg until they turned around and were like, what the fuck? And then you'd like wait to see their reaction or whatever. Like that was a thing.
You talk about gamers being a different breed.
Like that's the one thing. So like the only like the best shower story I have, like best in terms of just the wildest shit, is like, you know, usually people start walking in like 8:30. You're getting to the rink and you're starting to get your gear on and you kind of, you know, shooting the shit, stretching, whatever, warming up.
Gear room.
And so like it was like right that my buddy Ryan, he's like halfway dressed and he's like, I think I got a shit. I had Taco Bell before. I had Taco Bell's dinner. We were like,
rookie
dude,
mistake.
don't have Taco Bell. Okay. So like,
I'm a grown ass man.
and that's disgusting. It's like when you got your gear on, the last thing you want to do is like go and sit on a toilet because there's no comfortable way to sit on a toilet half dressed in hockey gear. So, okay. So like he takes care of business. We go play the game. I don't even remember if we won or lost, but after the game, he came back to the locker room in a fucking hurry to hit that bathroom after the game. Like we just walk in the room after the game and he's already peeling gear off to get to the bathroom, you know? So he's in the bathroom. And the thing with this bathroom is the ice rink building. It's like the ice rink is here, right, on one side. And then there's a huge like entryway concession stand locker room area, like a brick building. But the other side is the outdoor pool during the summer, the in-ground outdoor public pool. This is at a county park with big diving boards and shit. So the bathrooms and everything that are in the building are huge because they double as the public bathrooms during the summer for the like. So it's these big showers, these long shower rooms. So they tore all the doors off the stalls because gangs were doing like graffiti and shit on them in the summer. It's like you're in there, you got no privacy in this bathroom. So anyway, Ryan's taking a shit. And then like I remember one of the freshmen came sprinting out of the bathroom and I'm sitting there like, I don't know, just getting my shit off or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, you guys are so disgusting. I guess Ryan had only taken off like the bottom part of his gear and he was standing on those handicap rails in the thing. And he was doing an air dump. And then, but the problem was that what he didn't realize. Now, keep in mind, these bathrooms are public county park bathrooms, right? So it's not like the people from the county parks are there every day.
They're not going to clean it,
like checking to make sure.
No, it's like
for example,
maybe once a month.
They're not looking to make sure that all the stalls have toilet paper, right?
Oh no!
So he's in this stall, air dumping, half dressed in hockey gear. There's no toilet paper in there. He says, "Fine." He strips off the rest of his gear, and he's doing what he calls a vertical bidet, where you turn the shower on blast, and then you just do downward dog position. On all fours in the shower. You come around the corner and you walk, it's right there in front of you. You're like, what the fuck is going on? There's brown water going down there. Jesus. The whole place stinks. The freshmen are gagging.
You're laughing your ass off in the corner.
I'm like, oh God, throw me a chew. I can't handle this right now. Oh my God. So
hockey's wild.
So talk about fraternities. I mean, I can relate to that shit.
Seth, I think I remembered my poop story, dude.
Oh, you have a poop story?
I have a couple poop stories, actually.
What's the best poop story?
Oh, man.
That I feel like it's an oxymoron, isn't it?
It really is. I don't know. I think my favorite poop story is...
the best and the favorite are probably better.
We had a serial shitter in high school.
What does that mean?
It means this guy took public dumps in the most conspicuous of places. Like in between.
Like you're talking not in a toilet.
No, bro.
He used to hide
no,
his
they were
shit.
What, in a corner?
No, it would be open.
It
It would be like open in a courtyard. Throughout different areas of the school. And it happened for like an entire semester.
Did people see
guy-
him doing it, or did they just find the poop?
guy's
No,
a
yeah, they
bandit.
just found the poop, and that was, dude, that was the crazy thing. Nobody could find out who was fucking doing this, dude.
Take a sample.
Yeah, bro, there were cameras throughout the school, and again, it would happen in the most innocuous times in the middle of the school day. It would be to the point where like there were Twitter threads that all the fucking high school kids in my hometown were following, like, oh, the shitter struck again today, number 7. So, like,
Why did they give him a cooler name than the
Detective
shitter?
assigned to the case. I'm gonna find this guy.
I've dedicated my whole life to this. My marriage is at risk.
He's had popcorn today.
He had an abnormal amount of corn today, which means he can only be near the organic garden.
There's an awful lot of blood in this store.
Where is the closest Chipotle? And I need the list of everybody that shopped there that evening.
go check the school nurse's records and give me the name of every kid with IBS.
Check that. And all the kids that are lactose intolerant. They were serving ice cream as dessert
Need
today.
to cross-reference those with gluten intolerances.
Was it ever?
Make me a matrix.
Did it ever become known? Was this mystery ever solved?
No,
Dude,
that's the best part,
what year
man.
was this?
Sitting there
What
right
year
as
was
I
this?
got away with
This
it.
guy shit off into the sunset, bro. This was
He rode his brown lumpy turd off into the sunset.
this must have been 2010, I think.
How did you-
sophomore
okay.
year?
Wait, you're sophomore year of high school?
Yeah.
Damn.
I just like imagine you're that guy now. You're like 10,
Greatest heist.
10 years later, you're 20 some years old. And you're like, hey, you want to know something about me?
Dude, I hope to God that my high school reunion next year, the 10 year, we
me.
find out.
Hey guys, it was me. Wait,
was
he
the
was.
shitter.
Was he the same year as you? Nobody knows. You wouldn't know.
Okay, well, let me clarify. It was at my girlfriend's high school,
Okay.
which was across the city, so I wouldn't be going to that reunion.
Fair enough. But here's the thing. Do you do that when you're a senior?
I hope he's
What year-
still doing it.
what-
I hope he's
Well,
still
right,
doing
but
it.
like
Just showing up to work, shit in the bushes.
oh my God, I know that guy.
I recognize that
There's
poop.
a guy who's pooping in our office.
It's the same
the
circumference.
same guy?
Dude, he also has stopped pooping since Jeremy got fired.
What does he say? Do you remember that episode of Sunny where they're looking through a stool sample of Frank and Charlie? They're like, is that wolf hair? Oh my God.
But like how, what would be the, okay, so if you were, because it wouldn't have been a freshman, you would have had at least 2 years of it, right? Well, so it would have been, okay, so it was 2010 for you. And you're a year behind.
I would
so
assume that it
would've
would be a senior, right? Because, yeah.
been- because you can only pull that shit off.
It'd be way
No,
better.
he pinched that shit off
You could
multiple
pinch that
times,
shit
bro.
off.
It's gotta be. It's like the English teacher or somebody. It's somebody on the inside.
Well, that's a good
It's
question. That
conspiracy.
brings up a solid question. Do you, is it a
How
human
solid
size?
are we talking?
Depends on whether it's Taco Tuesday. It was chili day.
Here you go. It's Taco Tuesday, but
Yes.
but
Yes.
his shit was incredibly hard that day. There goes. He's one of those children who bring their lunch to school.
He doesn't eat the school lunch.
So that's the thing though. So okay, so it would have to be a senior. Otherwise, you either because you could not.
Conspiracy, the theory of the pool.
There has to be, right? Because if you're a freshman, he would get known.
There's too
because
much to lose.
There's too much to lose.
Hear me
and
out,
you have
hear me
three
out.
more years. Well, you have 3 more years of holding that in. Like remember from my freshman year.
I got a theory. Okay, hear me out. So like the pooer would have to be able to get out there and do it quickly before they're being seen.
See, I have a conspiracy theory behind that too. I
What
think
do you
he
think?
had it in a bag, dude.
You think it was
You think
pre-poo?
he?
I think he pre-pooed, dude, because it would be in the middle of a
staging the pool.
yeah, dude, it was in like the the middle of the fucking sidewalk in between classes, and it would happen between like second
Someone's
and third
coming
period.
into school with a
So it's
Ziploc bag full
then
of
it's-
poo.
Yeah,
it's
like unless
definitely a
somebody had the
child.
reflexes to squat, shit, and walk
There's no
within
way.
2 or 3 seconds.
The only way you could do it is if it was a girl because she's wearing a skirt.
Or if there was a school
Hmm.
monitor, and like you had a hall pass beforehand, and you could just drop the shit, and then
Literally.
Exactly.
Like literally.
You could drop your loaf and then just be like, okay, now the class is gonna come out. And they're like, where did this poo come from? It was the school monitor. Or a girl. A girl is also.
Speaking of which, that might be a good segue into you guys. What's your stances on conspiracy theories?
Which ones?
It
Because I
depends on the
believe
conspiracy.
Lay it on me. Are there any conspiracy theories that you're like definitely not true versus like another conspiracy theory where you're like definitely true, or you just kind of like
You go first. I have a gray area one.
I got one that I'm pretty convinced on, and that is that our DNA was modified by aliens, and that is why we have a missing link
I can get with
within
that.
the genetic
So that
code.
but at the same time,
I have one that links with that.
in order for you to believe that that's true, then you also have to believe that aliens exist.
Are we going back
absolutely.
there? Are we going back there?
So
I
aliens,
believe that the
we're sticking away from
Anunnaki-
we'll comment on the aliens. I'm just using it as an example.
Oh, bro, I believe that the Anunnaki came down and mined our natural resources and gold and basically took us and spliced our DNA with theirs to bank us their slave labor.
I don't think you're
And
wrong.
that's my...
Okay,
It would make
so
the pyramids
everyone
would make a lot more sense.
there's gonna be a companion podcast that we're gonna do in the future. Maybe it's on Sunday nights called That's Freaking
It's
Aliens.
freaking aliens.
It's probably gonna be the three of us just talking about aliens. Okay, so then the modified DNA thing and aliens.
I
Okay,
have one.
what are you that's like a no?
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth? Like lizard people? You're maybe on lizard people?
I'm maybe on lizard people. Flat Earth, don't believe. And
What about Bigfoot?
I got a quick list for you guys.
You got Bigfoot?
I'm about 60%.
Oh, you're gonna read us a list and we'll say yes
got
or
a
no?
quick list.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. All
Let's
right,
hit this
do
rapid fire.
16 best conspiracy
Yeah,
theories.
lay it on me.
Okay. Okay, you guys ready for the first?
Yeah,
Okay,
lay it
the
on.
first conspiracy. 9/11 was an inside job.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, bruh.
The first sentence in this article is, the evidence is overwhelming that the terrorist attack of September 11th, 2001 were indeed a result of a conspiracy.
I'm a no on that.
Conspiracy of Osama bin Laden and a crew of mostly Saudi hijackers.
Have you seen the footage of how it fell?
government conspiracy.
But have you seen the footage of how it fell, dude? It fell like a pancake, like a demolition.
Dude, I watched
did
it
not-
fall live.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to me is the Pentagon, because the Pentagon spots
Yep.
where they were hit don't make sense.
That's the jet fuel.
Okay, we're getting caught. Okay, so that's a no. It's a yes for you.
yes for you.
Yep.
No for me. Okay.
I'm going to say just for me, I think yes.
yes.
It's a
Okay. So
yes.
okay. All right.
Princess Diana's death was a murder.
Yes.
Yes, but not a conspiracy.
Would elaborate.
Well, okay. I don't think that the crown, that the entire royal family, save Diana, got together and all agreed this bitch has got to go. That would be a conspiracy. I think it was what it was, which was they're getting followed by some people and they were driving dangerously. I will say the conspiracy part is I do believe that someone was having them followed.
Yes.
I don't think this was
Right.
normal paparazzi. I think these people were being followed by professionals.
Yes.
And something went wrong. Either the driver was driving wild, the roads were wet, something goes wrong. I don't think they were purposely killed.
But I think that they were pushed to go insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
So conspiratorial manslaughter, if you will.
Yeah. Where were you at on that?
I think that it was kind of somewhere in between.
Same
It
kind
was,
of.
it was definitely premeditated.
Exactly. Premeditated. But I think that it was coincidental in the incident, but premeditated in the long-term play that it was going to be if that didn't happen that day.
It was lucky for them that it happened then.
But it would have happened
Eventually.
regardless.
Yeah, I'm with
Yep.
that. Okay. Okay. What else?
Exactly. Okay. The next one is, and I think we can all agree on this one, subliminal advertising.
Oh, that's not even a conspiracy.
That's not a
That's
conspiracy
just
at all.
fucking psychology and facts.
Exactly.
But it depends on what we're talking about. I mean, dude, that was like my whole major, right? PR
Sure.
and advertising.
Sure.
If we're talking about a fucking flickering message on a screen
telling you to assassinate the president or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
If we're talking some Manchurian candidate activation shit, no. They tried that in the early days of propaganda with the flashing images, but
when I think subliminal advertising, I think that the advertising companies and the brands that they represent, basically the companies that hire the advertising agencies, they say, do whatever you think is necessary to get us result XYZ.
That's just guerrilla marketing at a certain point, right? If we're talking product placement, if we're talking
product placement, yes.
But I don't think it's the government or some company trying to sneak messages to get us to do anything other than to buy.
Exactly. There's no hidden message, dude. It's just consume. It's capitalism.
You need this.
Exactly.
You need this because without it, you're nothing.
Yeah, and that's fully masked off in our entire culture.
Yeah.
Well, listen to this because it kind of supports that. It says in the 1980s, concern over subliminal messages spread to bands such as Styx and Judas Priest, with the latter band even being sued in 1990 for allegedly causing teens suicides with subliminal messages.
They're talking about playing the record backwards type shit.
That's the Charlie Manson, Beatles, Helter Skelter thing.
The case was dismissed, though. Subliminal mental processing does exist and it can be tested. But just because a person perceives something, a message or advertisement, subconsciously means itself very little by itself. There is no inherent belief of subliminal advertising over regular advertising. So it is believed that there's not general scope of like Hershey's isn't going to get you to buy more fucking Hershey's Kisses because you're watching the Super Bowl or some shit. Like other than seeing the direct messaging, like it's shit like that.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
I believe that there is definitely subliminal messaging, but I don't believe in the sense that like they're getting you to fucking go kill, let's say John Lennon by reading Catcher in the Rye.
All right, what else you got? What's the next one?
Next one, the moon landing was a hoax.
Nope.
I don't think so.
You think it was legit?
I think it was legit.
I think it's legit.
I think it's legit. We wanted to beat Russia, dude, and we would never fake our superiority to Russia.
But here's the thing: is that argument is the reason why they think there is a hoax, because we needed to at least show them so they could back off going to the moon. But I don't think that would defer them.
But they were the first to get to space anyway.
The issue with
they can go to the moon now. So what's the difference?
The issue with these pictures, I guess, is one of the things is that the number one, the background is completely black. Is like there's no stars, right?
But you don't know. So
and number two, they said that there were actual ripples in the flag and there would be no wind in space.
That's true, but that doesn't mean that there can't be.
But the flag would be pre-rippled when you took it out.
Because you're shaking the flag.
But if it really was, then they would be moving a little bit, but I don't think it would be rippling. Right?
But you also don't know like what kind of cameras were used to take those pictures and like what the conditions of all that.
That's another hoax. That's another hoax. Is that a camera wouldn't operate regularly in space?
Well, I don't know about that because we do that all the time.
Well, there's like digital imaging now, but I guess one of the conspiracies is that like a regular like camera from like, let's say like the 1960s wouldn't work because it's more based on like friction.
Okay, my argument against the moon landing conspiracy would be like, okay, then what did we gain by faking the landing? And no one can present a compelling argument.
We gained superiority during the Cold War.
How?
Because we showed that we had better technology, and that the whole
Didn't
thing
matter.
about the whole thing about the Cold War was you weren't going to attack the person with more technology, because if you attack the person with more technology, then they can just dissuade your attack. But
they knew what technology we had. It was not like I wonder what they have. There were spies on both sides, so it's like they knew exactly.
But there was shit that spies wouldn't know.
But they were so close to using the same technology to do the same thing. Another 6 months goes by, they would have probably beat us to it. So it's not like there was a huge divide in technology where I think the Russians would be like, "Oh, the Americans landed on the moon, we're out of the war." Like I don't think
it was definitely a major blow to them. That was the thing. Is like
I don't know. You know what I think it was? Here's what I think it was. I believe in the conspiracy theory that the whole space race wasn't about space or about technology. I'm a big believer that somebody really smart in the government said, we can't shoot at these people because they have the same bullets. And if we shoot at them, they're going to shoot back. And that ends badly for everybody. So what else can we do that doesn't involve bullets?
That's what I'm saying.
And I think somebody in the government said, we challenge them to a spending spree. We make it look like we're spending so much money on weaponry.
And we're still good.
That they have to spend as much money on weaponry so that they don't feel like they're not properly defended. And somebody smart was like, we can withlast them. We can last longer than them. We have more money than they have.
Can I say that, hey, America, you won that race like 40 years ago. You can stop.
I think that's what I think it was. I don't think it was a technology thing. That's why I kind of, okay. But anyway, all right, it's a good one. And what's the next one? How many have you done?
I've done 4. That's 4.
So we'll do one more.
Okay, well, hold on. I want to do 2 more because there's definitely 2 more that I want to do. Paul McCartney's death.
You think the Paul McCartney we've been seeing for the last 20 years is not the real Paul McCartney?
Is actually Billy Sheen.
From the Police?
No, like, hold on. I don't know if it's from the Police, but he said, okay.
I've never heard this one.
You've not heard the Paul McCartney?
Nope.
Okay, so there is
the Paul is dead thing.
Yeah, the Paul is dead conspiracy goes on something like this. On November 9th, 1966, Paul McCartney got into an argument with the Beatles, stormed out of the studio, and promptly decapitated it in a car accident. To cover the whole thing up, the band hired a look-alike and sound-alike, which is why in the song A Little Help from My Friends, they say Billy Sheen and like
Shears,
yeah, whatever. Yeah. But I fucked it up.
But then Ringo sings it.
Right, but they say that they're introducing that guy as the new Paul McCartney. And so the guy has been Paul McCartney since then. There are certain things that if you look at different, I think I want to say it's Strawberry Fields, but I don't know if that's correct. There's a car that is driving along the street and only hits Paul McCartney's head. And they said that there was subliminal messaging saying that, like, yeah, he was actually dead. And there's actually like the Glass Onion. They say they give a hint to it and they say the walrus was Paul. That part of that was like a more of a hint to Paul McCartney's death because the walrus and I am the walrus.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing. Like
I can't get behind that only because Paul McCartney's been in so many documentaries since that happened.
Can I tell you my perspective on it? I don't think it's true.
Yeah, I'm not with that.
I don't think it's true.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I can't buy into that, to be honest.
Now, like, you want to talk about music conspiracies?
Well, I can tell you one last thing on the Paul thing. The biggest thing that everyone thought was like the big Paul McCartney's dead thing is, you remember the album of Abbey Road?
Sure.
Paul McCartney is the only one out of step, which shows death. He's the only one not wearing shoes, and he's also the only one in like the suit for his burial day. They're saying that like because he's out of step and he's wearing something different than the rest of them, he's actually wearing a suit and all dressed up, that he's actually dressed to be in his coffin.
But why wouldn't they just tell everybody?
Why would they put subliminal messaging or try to allude to it if it was actually secret?
Because they thought in the 60s and everything that the Beatles were a big new thing. They were like, we've never had fucking hype like this before. Their thought was, hey, if we lose one of our main singers, the thing's gonna crumble.
But then why put all these subliminal hints like
because the Beatles like to fuck with people. The Beatles.
I don't know.
That's actually historic. That's historically accurate. They like to go through and like they would hear conspiracies about themselves, and they'd put little hints in their songs like that is what they used to say. But like I don't totally agree with it. I can see it, but I don't agree with it.
Now on the other hand, talking about music conspiracies that I totally believe.
Avril Lavigne got replaced and she's dead.
I mean, that would be, you're telling me there's 2 hot punk rock chicks out there?
There's a ton. You just got to download Tinder and Bumble, Kyle.
Fuck. Wait, we're gonna make a this week on Tinder and Bumble with Kyle.
Oh, that would be fucking hilarious.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I've never been on a dating app. These guys keep telling me I have to get on a dating app, and they want to run it.
We want to get you love.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I'll tell you what. We'll ask the listeners if we get a bunch of upvotes or something. We get a bunch of likes and shares or something.
All 40 of you?
Yeah, I'm gonna leverage whatever power.
All 40 of you, we're gonna see if we can find Kyle Love.
Yeah.
We're gonna start on episode 2, the find Kyle Love.
Look, man, we'll take
segment.
some great boudoir photos of you.
I know a girl.
Kenzie.
I know a girl.
I'll get a leopard print tattoo up and down my whole side, and then I'll do naked handstands.
Don't listen
won't-
to Logan. I know a girl.
That's a no. That's no. But I was gonna say the music conspiracy that I do believe is I do think the CIA killed Bob Marley.
Really?
Sure. Oh yeah.
I
You
wanna
know
hear-
anything about the
I
Bob
don't know
Marley
this
thing? Look that up. The Bob Marley conspiracy is interesting. The Bob Marley conspiracy basically boils down to this, and this is my like very rudimentary understanding. Bob Marley gets a very suddenly, at the height of his fame and success, gets a very rare form of cancer that black people just don't get. He gets melanoma. Why black people don't get melanoma? Because their skin is dark. They can't like get skin cancer from the sun. It's not something they do, right? And that's the whole thing with the kind of like the evolutionary benefits of darker versus lighter skin is people that live in sunnier areas typically have darker skin because it protects you from skin cancer.
Right.
It's like, yeah, that's no duh. So anyway, the Bob Marley conspiracy is Bob Marley gets melanoma and he gets it someplace weird, like in his toe or something.
Underneath his toenail.
Yeah. And he dies of it.
Yeah.
Right. Which again is weird because it like metastasized like through his entire body so quickly.
Yeah.
And the theory is that the CIA or somebody, right? And they think it's the CIA, using local people on the ground because it's easier or whatever. But it's like Bob Marley was becoming a nuisance. He was threatening.
He was placing the goals of the CIA in jeopardy and threatening the existence of the United States.
Because he's calling for revolution. He was
succeeding in creating a revolution that used music as a more powerful tool than bullets and bombs. Direct quotes from Oxley of the CIA.
Right. So the whole thing is here's this guy who's threatening to cause instability in the region, in Jamaica, right, in the Caribbean, which is so close to Castro. And if he causes revolution there, what happens in Cuba? What happens in these other, island nations? And that's so close to the U.S., we just can't have that. He's got to go. And
it could turn out to be global conflict if you
Holy
get
shit,
Cuba
listen.
in there and there's, communist or, excuse me, I actually don't know the political system, but Cuba, would it be
I
considered
think
communist?
it is communist.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So
Holy shit, listen to this. So that was what I was saying. As far as the agency was concerned, Bob Marley was too successful, too famous, and too influential. A Jamaican Rastaman who started using his funds and fame to support causes around the world that were in direct conflict with the CIA. Marley, they explained that Marley signed his own death warrant by refusing a heed to the message from the CIA directly. The CIA sent a few guys to shoot up his house in Kingston, which Willie D explained left Marley injured in his chest and arm. We had a message for him. We impressed upon him the gravity of the situation he found himself in, and he didn't listen. 2 days later in the mountains, I stuck him with a pin. After the shooting, he explains that Marley moved to the Blue Mountains in Jamaica to practice for an upcoming concert and used the press as a barrier to keep the CIA away from Marley.
There you go. That's my music conspiracy. I like that. You guys want to take 5?
Yeah.
All right.
Holy shit on that though. Hold on, before you hit that button. That is probably one of the ones that I'm actually going to dive deeper in because they have a whole message of him on his deathbed. They have a video of this dude on his deathbed confessing to it.
Jesus Christ.
So what I'm saying is if you guys think that you're safe and you sing, you're not.
We'll be back.
don't quit your day job, bud.
Yeah.
Shout out to the dinosaurs. Shout out all the raptors. Hey, shout out to you. And shout out the whole Rex and Pterosaurus. Hey, cause you fucking sweet.
If you don't know who
I
that
don't
is,
give a
then
damn
you don't
about
know
your
who that
girl.
is.
She a
That's
freak.
Young Miles.
Shout out to
Also,
my
a top banger from Young Miles is "Rip My Pants." If you want to check that out,
A top banger.
it's a top banger. All right.
Okay.
You know what?
Tell me you're a dad without telling me you're a dad, bro.
Hey, shout out to the Parasaurus. All right.
That shit is dope.
It slaps.
I'm not even gonna hate. Oh my god.
I just ripped my pants. Why the fuck I just dookie in them?
Hey, we wanna do the news?
I got news.
Want to do the news or you want to jump into something else? News?
All right, Huey Lewis, hit me.
News. Okay, let's do news. Here,
yeah,
hold
news?
on. Oh, yeah. I got to find the news button. Applause. Oh, here's the news. All right. I think that's it.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
There is absolutely no evidence to support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world.
Now let's get right into the news. Yeah. So news, right? So you guys
News.
So
comes out every day.
Yeah, it comes out every day. So
as events happen.
Did you guys buy it? But did you guys buy a Powerball ticket or a Mega Million ticket?
What's it at right now?
It was
1 point something billion.
It was at 1.3 or 1.6.
Somebody
million.
won it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I have a running conspiracy that runs into the last thing that we were talking about.
Bob.
No. Nobody lives in Maine.
Is that where the person who won supposedly lives?
Yes.
Okay.
But I had this theory before that.
Okay.
And so the previous winner that I think was like it was something crazy like 1.1 million or billion or something like that. They won in the middle. There was like 3 or 4 drawings and there was somebody that won in the middle of LA. And I was like, that's too convenient for me.
Yeah.
That's too convenient. I think they get to those numbers and just give it to somebody random. I have this theory that nobody actually lives in Maine because, okay, you hear shit about Maine and it's always the craziest shit, but that shit doesn't actually happen.
Seth,
Have you tried
the
just
three of us,
driving to the border?
we know 2 people who are from Maine.
No, they don't. They're not actually from Maine. Exactly.
Where are they
I'm blowing your mind
They're
right
just
now.
from northeastern Vermont.
Exactly. They didn't actually live in Maine ever.
So, okay, hold on. Let's just make one thing clear. Make sure I'm understanding you here. Are you saying that when you get to the eastern border of Vermont, that there's no more land there, that it doesn't physically exist?
No. I'm saying there's land there.
Yeah.
But it's just Vermont.
Any person that is there past that point is governmentally planted, and that nobody actually lives there, and it's all a front.
For what?
That's what we don't know.
What if you just...
That's the softest conspiracy. We don't know.
So
We haven't even
so
formulated a theory.
there's been no science.
Nothing
that's
good,
ever
I can
come
tell
out
you
of,
that.
out of Maine. How do we know that people actually live there?
What do you mean there's no science?
Well, I'm just saying I was going back with the whole like alien conspiracy thing you were talking about last time. Where it's just like you have that bombshell in the middle.
Logan, you want to be on a board? There's a Maine, right?
There's a Maine. No, I'm not arguing that there's definitely a Maine, but nobody lives there.
Have you guys heard the similar conspiracy for Finland?
That there's no Finland?
Correct, that Finland
There's no
doesn't
Ohio.
exist because it actually just serves as a stand-in for the coordinates of fishing rights between the Japanese and Russia, because that territory formed after World War II, and I don't know enough about it to make a coherent argument necessarily, but apparently there is documentation of the different fishing rights and the different territories in which they operate, which don't truly make sense for the operating
like-
region.
But so
that
there's
they
no
have.
land there?
Yeah,
what
but-
we're seeing on a map is not actually land?
Exactly. That essentially.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, that could be. Okay, honestly, my main theory is just something that I personally believe that
You're a fucking psycho.
Yeah, exactly.
Some crazy shit.
But that's why. Okay, but it goes back to my theory. Not my theory, but it goes back to what I was talking about originally. Was that Michigan man's memory lapse leads to twin lottery jackpots.
Okay, I'm listening.
He couldn't remember if he had already purchased a lottery ticket, and ended up buying 2 identical tickets
On purpose?
on purpose.
Okay.
And he won 2 jackpots based on those on his
So
own
he
fucking
was
money.
the sole Powerball winner.
He was the sole Powerball winner twice, which wouldn't actually make sense, right? Because you would just get all the money.
What do you mean? So say like there was one pot for $1 billion. He took out the same ticket twice, so he got $2 billion.
No, I
Each
think
ticket's only worth a half.
Yeah, it'd only be worth a half.
I think if you were to turn in one ticket,
won twice.
Yeah.
But he won twice, and
in two different.
Right.
Okay.
The Montcalm County man told Michigan lottery officials that he was at the Mobile gas station on West Main Street in Stanton when he couldn't remember if he had already purchased a ticket for the December 17th Fantasy 5 drawing. I've been playing Fantasy 5 for a long time, and I always play the same set of numbers. I was at the gas station. I couldn't remember if I'd already purchased a ticket for the Fantasy 5 drawing that night, so I decided to purchase an extra one to be safe. Later, he determined that he had already bought an identical ticket, but those are the numbers that won.
Hey, here, side bet. How long does it take that guy to go bankrupt?
What class does he come from?
I'll tell you, where in Michigan is he?
Is he in the UP?
He's
Because
in Stanton.
it's going to be gone in a year there, bud.
Michigan. Find me a map here, Mr. Google Maps.
I got it pulled up. It is. Let's go.
Stereotyping with Seth Kyle and Logan.
Hey, man. That's freaking aliens.
That's crazy. At least he's like, okay, so like you got the
Central
hand
Michigan.
here.
Yeah.
He's right here.
Then like
He's
the
like
dead center manor.
Like dead center.
That's
like
what?
Really
That's
close to Mount
not
Pleasant.
Holland. That's not Grand Rapids. Well,
He's like,
where's
I would say he's probably 30.
Lansing is dead center.
I'd say he's 30 to 45 minutes northeast of Grand Rapids.
Which is like north of Lansing. Okay.
What can we generalize about this man based on his geography?
This guy owns multiple Carhartt jackets, but he got them before they were expensive. He genuinely bought them because they're high quality.
He's one of
workwear.
those towns that you pass while you're moving through Michigan to go to the northern part.
Starbucks for this guy is snooty.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And he uses the word snooty. Okay. That guy's a union man. Okay. That guy's a union man.
Great value steaks only.
Yeah. This guy's never had a craft beer in his life because that's what those hippie
right
FAGs drink.
Hey, can't say that.
Okay, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Which goes into this.
I was trying with the
Ben Ferencz.
Franklin.
It's Ferencz.
Ference. Sure.
Secured the convictions of 22 Nazi death squad leaders 75 years ago in what was called
yes, continue.
in what was called the biggest murder trial in history in Nuremberg. His,
I'm familiar.
His comment is a treasure to humanity. He's pushing for peace.
Yeah.
His comment, he says, "Good morning. Ask your questions." They go through a bunch of questions. Hold on, I gotta find.
What is this?
Hold on.
Someone did an interview with him?
Yeah. He says something specific that I lost.
How old is he at the time of the interview?
102.
Holy Jesus!
He basically says, in what I read,
That guy had to
this,
feel good just about himself. And
Oh,
his
yeah.
life. Holy fuck!
Oh yeah. He says it's a grim hell. I had to refrain from letting it get to me emotionally.
Which part?
Nuremberg trials.
The part where you punished a bunch of evil people to death?
Right. His issue is, though, that he doesn't think that the world at this point in time has learned anything from the Nuremberg trials that he witnessed and the horrors and the atrocities that he had to sentence.
No.
Because
No, they haven't.
Absolutely
No.
not.
absolutely not. Yeah. So
And he's surprised?
no, he said basically he has to keep his emotions in check, but he just get the job or just get on with the job, get your evidence and get your ass out of there. But he couldn't do that.
Jesus hell.
He's been living there for 102.
Where's he been living?
He's been living in, I think, in like Europe and somewhere in Europe. But he says that he's held on to every single one of those emotions for the last 60 some years. My thing is, number one, I thought this would be an excellent conversation topic to talk about your grandfather.
Oh, God.
And number two, I thought that
Let's preface by saying that Kyle's grandfather is not a Nazi.
He's
That
on
is
the good
Not,
side.
yeah,
He's
no,
on the
we
good
were on
side.
we speak of the English.
So his thing though is like he's like we need to act quick or else he foresees another time frame in which something like the Nuremberg trials would have to happen.
Well, I think it's probably needed to happen several times. I mean, you hear about all these things that were going on in Africa and some of these countries that have been at war, like civil war.
Absolutely, man. South Sudan, I mean, Rwanda. There has been modern genocide, modern slavery,
somewhere in like Indonesia, East Asia, somewhere like by Vietnam or
Myanmar.
Yeah. There's been a couple times. It's like,
I mean, there's even the genocide of Uyghur Muslims in China today, man. It's absolutely active.
And I'm sure that's a lot of what's going on in Russia, in China, under these different regimes. I'm sure. Yeah.
Here's the fuck part: is like he said he had to interview multiple men who said they were successful in cleansing of what they were going after. And he said the fact that I had to interview those people and talk to them one-on-one and they were so sound in their resolution is what fucked with him to the core.
Yeah.
Which it would fuck with me to the core.
I just don't get like, okay, here, let me ask you this. I would have a much harder time sleeping at night being one of these guys, like, I hate to use this, but he's like the best examples, like Johnny Cochran. Like the whole OJ thing. Yeah. And he's one of these big defense attorneys. They only call in like when someone who has a lot of money gets into trouble and it looks kind of fishy, you call Johnny Cochran.
Right.
Right. Like that guy, how does that guy sleep? Whereas this guy's persecuting. He is there to convict Nazi war criminals. I'd be smoking a cigarette. I'd be like, yep, this is the best job in the fucking world.
Easy as shit.
Yep.
Exhibit A.
Short of being Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards. And
oh my God. I would have carts of documents, I would make this take years. You know what I mean? Because you can't lose.
Right.
You're not losing. There's no way. What's his defense? Like,
right.
You just lay it on me. You got a defense?
We literally arrested you at a Nazi concentration camp.
Like you were there in the uniform.
We said, hey, we need to talk to your leader. They're like, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone agrees.
Everyone agreed that you were the leader.
Yeah.
You were in charge.
Yeah. You had the most stripes on your uniform.
But hey, I want to ask you though, there was one person missing in the attendance that day. That was very interesting. Oh. Kind of an interesting character, wouldn't you say, Logan?
What?
I don't get the joke.
You don't get the joke.
What's going on? Let's move on. What's the next thing?
No. I was talking about there was somebody who was supposed to be there, but ended up clapping cheeks instead.
Mm-hmm. A certain
gentleman.
A certain
that's really close to
great grandpa retired chick.
Oh. You guys really want me to tell this story? I've told you that story before.
Oh, I want to hear it on live.
Oh God. Okay, so like I should tell you that, well, that's another story for another podcast. Is like, I think we figured out like exactly which factory my grandma was at, which was interesting because we all thought she was crazy and she was making up some big fish stories about like how she got from Russia to wherever she ended up. And it turns out it's all fucking true. And it's way crazier than you even think.
Well, that's another time.
That's another time. So, but the story about Nuremberg, and again, to me, the timeline of this is fishy. Okay. But okay. So my understanding of the story is the war ends of the people of that generation who could have potentially gone to fight. My grandpa was born late. He was young for his generation.
Right.
Okay. And so by the time he gets drafted or enlists, I forget which it is. I want to say he enlists. The war is pretty much done, which is like the story will go to show you that is my grandpa right there. Everything you need to know about my grandpa happens right there. It's a combination of luck, just dumb luck. He's too young to have to go fight. Like he didn't do anything to put himself in that position, but he just got so fucking stupid
my father
lucky.
In the Korean War.
Right? Like he gets lucky. So then he enlists. Right? Because he's like, and he's in like, that's the other thing about my grandfather. My grandfather is the kind of guy who would be like, yeah, you got to get out there and you got to fight for your country. And then it'd be like, well, do you want to enlist? And he'd be like, oh, I had to work yesterday, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then they'd be like, tomorrow, the war's over. And he'd be like, I'm enlisting. I'm there. I told you I was enlisting, right? Like, so like,
I'm a war hero.
Like, it's kind of like, it's all very suspect like that. It's like the war ends and all of a sudden he enlists. Huh. You don't say, right? So anyway, they send him over there as part of what they call the constabulary force. Maybe I'm mispronouncing that.
Constabulatory.
Well,
they're just making sure everybody's dead.
Constabulations. The war's over.
Constabulations.
Look it up. Constabulatory.
I just look at it as like the constabulatory force, right? They're the guys that stab all the half dead guys.
But anyway, it's a big mall security force. It's a bunch of guys who they're calling soldiers, but really they're over there.
I got you.
Yeah.
Right here. The United States Constabulary was a United States Army military grenadierma force from 1946 to 1952 in the aftermath of World War II. It acted as an occupation and security force in the United States occupation zone of West Germany and Austria. The reason they needed it basically was they needed a relatively small special forces unit available in the event that something broke out.
But they didn't want to station regular army.
Right.
So
they say quote unquote
militia.
They say quote unquote special militia. That's essentially what the Revolutionary War was, with everybody with their muskets.
Yeah. So it's a bunch of these guys that like are soldiers only because they have uniforms. Now there's another side of that, which is kind of the interesting thing is like, so my grandfather goes over there after the war as part of the peacekeeping there. Now my grandfather, oddly enough, has a unique skill at that time in the late 40s, early 50s. You know what that unique skill is? The guy can type. He's a man who can type, which is unusual.
It's still a very valuable skill today.
So he doesn't have to go out there and dig trenches. He doesn't have to go out there
they're not really digging trenches at that point.
And do night patrols. And he doesn't have to do all this shit because he can type. He's a specialist. So he gets a desk and an office job. Okay. Ooh. Again, one of those things where it's just that guy, just fucking, you want a guy to buy you a lottery ticket? Have that guy buy you a lottery ticket. Okay. This guy, so he gets sent over there, he can type. They give him a desk job, right? Now, what does he use that typewriter to do? He immediately uses that typewriter to promote himself. He writes a letter of promotion. He sneaks it into his boss's office while his boss is having drinks. And the way he tells the story, he said, hey, here's another thing you got to sign off on. Boss signs it, bang. All of a sudden, he's the boss. That's the way he says it, okay? So
sounds like a boss.
He's sneaky though, this sly motherfucking Polak. He is a sneaky bastard. What he does is he doesn't promote himself in an obvious way. He has himself promoted kind of cross-laterally. Now, my grandfather's area of expertise is wheeling and dealing, shaking hands, kissing babies. This guy's a people person. He's a politician. Okay. This guy has this amount of smarts, but that amount of personality, people just like him. I don't know what the fuck his deal is. Like,
hey, he sounds like a lot like me.
He's one of those people that's like indispensable and valuable to the company, but no one's sure what he does.
Air quotes.
Yeah, like
air quotes out the ass.
But no one's really sure because he's never at his desk. Like, what does this guy do? Like, right? But he's awesome. So anyway, his thing is he comes from a family of like 9 or 10 kids in the slums of like the south side of Milwaukee, right? Which is, it's crazy, right? So, but because he grows up with 9 kids, he's a hustler. He's a hustler out there. He's wheeling and dealing. He's one of these guys that during the depression is out there rifling through trash bins, collecting rags because you can turn in textiles for money. Like you can turn in cans, right? And that's just how he grew up because he's got to take care of himself. There's 9 siblings, right?
Right.
So when he gets to the army, he can type. He's a people person. You know what they put him in charge of? They put him in charge of the supply of everything. All right. And specifically, who he ends up supplying is the guys that rode with Patton. At the end of the war, they come in on Normandy. They storm the beaches in their tanks. They go across France. They go across Germany.
Badasses.
And they keep going. They go through Munich. They go through the whole deal into Austria because the Germans are running into the Austrian Alps to build secret factories where the U.S. airplanes can't see them.
That's crazy.
Right? So they drive into Austria, almost down to Linz, which is kind of like central northern Austria in the border. And at the end of the war, I don't know if they were given the option of or whether it was mandated, but all the guys in this tank squadron, this particular tank squadron, I think they're told, hey, if you want to continue being in the army, there's no more war, but you can join this constabulary force. Okay. And now these guys are actual soldiers. These guys are fucking real deal. Like these guys hand-to-hand combat because the gun jammed on the tank type of guys.
Right.
Okay. So these guys, they handle border patrol and they handle like night missions and shit like that. Like no one really tells you what they did, which tells me it was like some not good shit. Right. So
they're racking numbers.
So that's my dad's uncle is one of these guys in the tank squadron. When the war is over, do you want to stay in the army? Yes. They turn him into these security forces who border, do the border patrols. So my grandpa, we don't know why, but he ends up getting transferred either because he requests to transfer or because they transfer him, whatever. They're going to move him from like Berlin or somewhere up in the north down to Austria on the Germany-Austria border, right? Mm-hmm. There's only one way to get there. They're not going to fly you there. You're one dude. They're not going to throw you on a plane.
On a train.
Right. They're going to throw you on a train. So he's taking a train. Now the train, as you go, north to south through Germany, kind of like southern central Germany, the big city is like it's Nuremberg and Frankfurt.
Yep.
So the way he tells the story is him and his buddies are on his way to the trials. They had an off day. They got free tickets. Hell, my grandpa might have even forged the tickets. That guy, it wouldn't put it past me, right?
He might have traded some fucking normal rations to be like, hey, I'll give you some chocolate bars or I'll give you some fucking, ammo crates for some Nuremberg.
And that's not beyond my grandpa because the reason my grandpa met my uncle, my great uncle, my dad's uncle, is because he ends up being the guy who's Logan, you being from a military family, you only know the name, but he's kind of like the quartermaster for that division.
Gotcha.
If those guys need something, they need peanut butter, they need socks, it comes from my grandpa.
Yep.
And my grandpa's one of these guys who's like, he's doing you a favor, okay, for two reasons. Genuinely because he likes doing people a favor, because he's a people person, right? But also because if he does you a favor, you kind of owe him one. You know what I mean? He may not call you on it out like that, but you owe him one. Okay. So the thing I think he got out of it was he liked hanging out with these badass hardcore tank guys because he thought he was part of the crew.
Right.
And that was cool. Right. And they could get him into all the officers clubs and shit that he normally couldn't get into. Right. Because these guys got badges and they're fucking heroes. They freed the people at Dachau. They're not fucking around. So anyway, I think this is all just theory. I think to make friends with the tank guys, he would slip these guys extra shit. They would ask for 2 pairs of boots. He'd give them 5 and a case of scotch.
Right.
Have a good day. Right. I think that's kind of how it went. That's how he knows my great uncle John. So that's kind of the backstory to tell you. So as my grandpa's being transferred, he has to go through Nuremberg on the train. We don't know if that's the destination or if he's just stopping there for a couple of days because he knew the trial was going on. It was kind of a big thing at the time. It was something to go and see.
Sure.
If you were there, go see it, right?
Absolutely.
So the way that this dude tells the story, and he tells me the story for the first time, I'm 20 years old. I'm outside dismantling his above ground pool in 95-degree August weather out there. Me and my brother tearing down his pool. He's sitting big beer belly in tiny swim trunks.
That's the style.
Sunning himself.
That's the style.
Out there in the sun. He is the color of a belt.
He put in his dues.
This dude is the color of a leather belt out there in this tiny swimsuit, just having a ball of a time watching us take down this swimming pool, making sure to tell us everything we're doing wrong. Hey, you got to do that. Well, why are you doing that? Do it this way, right?
And why aren't you doing it, Grandpa? Hey, by the way, have I told you? Nice dick.
That's the conditions under that. He's telling my brother and I the story. Okay. So I'm out there digging this pool and tearing this shit down as he's telling me this story. And I'm just going on the one hand, I'm like, God, this is awful. On the other hand, I'm saying, what is going on? What the fuck? So the story he tells is he goes, well, yeah, Kai. So anyway, me and a couple of boys from the service were on our way down to Nuremberg. But on the train, we met a couple of gals.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't say, you sly dog. He's like, yeah, something along the lines of like, and I think because my grandpa's position in the army, he was one of those people like it wouldn't surprise me. Like if you told me that he stole a bunch of shit from there, like yeah.
Probably.
Secrets? If you told me he was trading yeah. Probably. Like, anyways, like, it's like, but what we used to do is we used to carry a couple of chocolate bars on us because we know that the German gals, they really like that American chocolate. It's hard to get chocolate, after the war. Like, oh, this sounds really.
And the trick is you gotta find women in the real you gotta find the girls in the real economically depressed areas.
How old were these girls?
You never said, I never asked. There's that type of thing.
Jesus.
But anyway, he tells me this story where he makes it sound like this. He's like, we don't end up going, because we met these girls, we don't end up going to the Nuremberg trials. We end up stopping somewhere. I don't know if it's at these girls' place or just somewhere randomly. But in the way he puts it, he goes, so we didn't make it to Nuremberg. Me and my buddy from the service, we took these gals back and did a little bit of back and forth. He called it the back and forth. The back, you mean like Pong? What are you talking about? The back and forth. What is that?
That's the 1950s equivalent version of Netflix and chill.
Just go like
Nuremberg and back and forth.
And he's like, you remember he's like telling me this story, but he's telling me in his grandpa voice like this as he's sitting out there with his big belly and his little shorts. Hey, Kyle. There's a spot right there. Yeah. Anyway, so me and these gals. What the?
Grandpa's telling me about land pipe again, Mom.
My brother and I get back in the truck after this shit. We're driving home, and the two of us are just looking at each other, going, "What the fuck just happened?
Was the $20 worth it?
What kind of chocolate is that?" Do you have any more news stories?
Yeah, I do. I have one more.
Okay, let's get through that.
The last one is, and it might, I don't know if you can read this. Black rapper calls out double standard of using hip hop lyrics as evidence in rapper Young Thug's criminal trial.
You're going to have to unwrap that for me. That was complicated.
He says, I would like to think that prosecutors have more than just a song lyric to use against somebody in court, said one hip hop artist. The high profile criminal trial rapper of Young Thug began this week. Black rapper who have had their lyrics used against them by prosecutors as evidence in criminal trials have renewed calls to end the practice, saying that although violence and other dark themes are frequently referenced in many artistic works, they are weaponized, only used against hip hop artists.
Okay, and so what's your take on that?
My take on that is, if it's real shit that goes on, then why the fuck are you telling the public about it?
You think he did the shit and he's rapping about it?
Fucking-lutely. If he's in trial for it, and he's this
that's your take. Well, my take is
my defense is no. Let me listen to my full take. My full take is the fact that, okay, yeah, he's saying this in a song, and you could say that it's artistic value, and you're like, oh, I don't actually do this shit. But like the fact that it's actually going to court because somebody was found with evidence of doing this shit, and they say, hey, you just came out and essentially said everything that we just said.
But they can't use that as a confession.
No, they can't use it as a confession, but
that's what he's saying they're doing. He's saying that they're using his lyrics. They're saying basically he's somewhat confessing to what he did in his lyrics. They're using his lyrics against him.
But what about like Biggie Smalls and like?
I mean, are you speaking in generalities, or are you speaking about specific?
Here. Let's do this.
What it does. Okay.
Let's do this. Let's say that tonight Logan walks out of here, and as he's walking out of here, I just shoot him in cold blood in the back in the street, right? And all of a sudden, after that's done, I come back in here tonight and I write a rap song, basically like, I shot Logan Wilson, social security number 427, like
In the back
address
of the head.
in the back at 10:57 p.m. on UE3.
How is that not a confession?
And I release it. My understanding is that in itself can't be used as a confession.
But how not? Because if they have,
But where's the line drawn? If I say that and I just put a beat behind it in GarageBand,
Right.
and fucking sync
That's my point.
confession
Is I think
Yeah.
unfortunately, because you're calling it a work of art, that is one loophole that you could use to defeat the system.
because then, but here's the thing.
I think it comes down to, though, is he speaking in generalities in the song? Because we don't even know the lyrics, man. Is he speaking in generalities about the things that he's doing, or is he referencing specific crimes?
It seems like he's referencing certain people.
Well, I keep saying we need a couple more friends in our friend group. One of the friends we need is we need a lawyer. We need a lawyer friend. We need a money friend who understands accounting, and we need a lawyer friend.
But here's my thing with that one, right? Is okay, so you're speaking in these generalities, then almost it's like your whole brand is on the line. Because if you're coming out as like, I'm a rapper,
At the point that I'm on trial, I don't care.
No, but listen, there are people that do though. Because like then you have to come to the point where like, okay, do I go to jail for,
doing what
4
I
to
say
6 months, saying I am what will that grow my sales?
Yeah.
Look at Lil Wayne. I don't think it's a
Lil Wayne is a
thing
perfect
there.
example of that. Is like okay, so do I say all of it was a lie, then paint myself as a fucking phony who's only doing this shit, or do I say no, that's what happened, and then I'm either a snitch or I'm actually like just making shit up at that point, and then I grow my brand.
Or do you go to the 6ix9ine approach and just rat on fucking everybody?
Right.
Well,
Do you,
I think that I think that certainly like there's a lot of truth in what these guys, especially these storytelling rappers like Biggie and Pac, like this, and the stuff that they talked about doing. I'm sure they did.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did. But
which is
I
what
don't
most
think
people today bounce off of.
I don't think they could legally hold them accountable to that though, under the loophole of these were released as works of fiction, they're art.
Right.
And as long as when you depose this person, you say, is this song an admission? As long as that person says no.
I mean,
but
let's think about it
but that
outside
goes
of
to
the
any other
context of
story,
rap,
though,
though. What
right?
about outside of the context of rap, right?
Right.
Like, what if we look at metal? I mean, Cannibal Corpse fucking, sodomized with a knife is a fucking song from them.
Yeah.
If some, this is all theoretical, say if he got in a fight or a singer got in a fight, whatever, and was brought to trial on that, would that song then be able to be used as evidence for his violent nature?
If there were
I don't think so.
But here's my thing: is if actual litigation was proven against him, like, hey, we have you on this night with this knife, just for that instance, saying we have this knife with your fingerprints on it, and like, then this person died, through the anus of bleeding out. But I'm just saying, like say that shit.
I hate when that happens.
Just hypothetically.
But hypothetically saying that happens, but then you make you make a song about it, right? And then, but it fits the whole thing.
I know.
Then how can you not use that against you?
I would say that as long as the person claims that they're innocent and that the song is not an admission, it's a work of art, it's a work of fiction, as long as they maintain that.
Is that what OJ did with the "if I had done it"?
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go home and just write a rap song confessing to everything I've ever
But it's
done.
art. It's art.
And it's just gonna be called art.
Okay, you have one more story?
I have one more just because like I was looking
Lay
at
it on us.
okay, this one's really light and I want to hear what you guys' opinions of it, and I feel like it'll be really quick. Polar bear kills mother, 1-year-old son after rampage throughout remote Alaskan village. A young woman and her baby son were killed by a polar bear when the animal entered the remote village in Alaska and chased several people. The incident occurred at approximately 2:30 today in Wales, Alaska, the westernmost point of American mainland, with the estimated population of about 170 people, which is often claimed and reflected in the population of Maine. When a polar bear reportedly entered the remote
Maine doesn't exist.
Police said
People are planted there.
but the polar bear
literally.
reportedly entered a remote community.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed there.
They don't know that.
Oh,
No,
he
he
didn't
wasn't
read the
allowed.
sign.
Okay, I'm
He
gonna
didn't
tell you
read the
a
sign
But
on the way
I want to hear what
in.
you think of it. Okay,
I'll tell you. It's exactly what here. So when I was 15, 16, one of my best friends, this girl Katie,
yeah.
got a job at the Milwaukee County Zoo. As
Sure.
in one of these, like kind of like Amanda did for the Y, with these youth programs,
Yeah.
where it's basically glorified babysitting. You pay money, you send your kid to the zoo 3 days a week, and during the morning they have classes and they go on tours and then they do arts and crafts. Okay,
Yeah.
right. And she's one of the supervisors and instructors for this. And at 16, like that's what kind of job you're going to get, right? And so she does that for a summer, and she's telling me the story. I still remember this to this day, about her orientation, the job training. Okay. The job training is like
That's what I was interested in.
They got trained. One training session was like, okay, the actual instruction, these are the lessons we're going to teach, and this is how you manage the class and all this stuff. Another part of the training was the tours. This is how you give a tour and stuff like that. Another part of the training was a safety tour done by the two heads of safety and security for the Milwaukee County Zoo.
Damn.
The way she tells the story, these guys go, you have no worries here. If the cheetahs get out, they will run. If the lions get out, they will run. Every animal in this park, if it gets out of its cage or in habitat,
Hey, gone.
will run because they are scared of people, even the elephants who are huge. You do not have to be concerned about any animals in this park, including the grizzly bears, except for one animal.
And of course, that's the animal that got out.
The animal that you have to be concerned about are the polar bears. Here is why.
Oh, God.
If the polar bears get out, they will not leave.
They
The
will try
polar
to
bears
kill.
will hunt in the park any animal that is small enough for them to take down, including an elephant. If the polar bears get out, these are the steps you need to follow. We only have steps and rules for the escape of one animal alone, and it is the polar bears.
Jesus.
And if they get out, it's Jurassic Park. The park goes on lockdown. You go into a secure room. You board yourself in the room. You lock the doors.
Damn.
No shit.
Fucking polar bears are velociraptors.
I heard you tell me this when I go, well, I still like Coca-Cola.
Jesus. Wait, so did any polar bears ever get out?
No, but apparently they're very concerned about them getting out.
See, and man, my whole take was going to be, well, I'm sure that it's environmental, and because the polar bears don't have access to the resources that they normally would with, climate change affecting their habitat, yada, yada. And maybe they're going to be more aggressive and search out those food sources wherever they can.
They need to adapt.
But if they are naturally aggressive motherfuckers who just want to go on a hunting rampage, then I mean, mad respect, dog.
Bears are not to be fucked with.
The grizzlies get out. No problem.
worries.
Who got out? The polar bears.
Oh, fuck.
Lock the building. Call the ship. We need to get off this island.
Get all of the children out of the Jello section of the food in Jurassic Park and put them in the kitchen.
I'll tell you what though, like every now and then, like there's a couple of those stories where like you hear about these people that climb over these fences and like get attacked by these animals.
Yeah.
And like I have no sympathy for these people.
No.
I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, you crawled into the tiger pen.
I think the one we could all agree with, and I'm Logan, I'm hoping you're on board with me. This one is the Harambe situation.
They had to shoot the goddamn gorilla.
May he R.I.P. in peace, bro.
He's the catalyst that started the world we live in.
Harambe.
The Harambe, dude. He was protecting a small child, and they were like, kill him.
Yeah, shoot him down.
Shoot him down. He's dead.
He was a martyr. The polar bears are simply taking revenge
As
in
they
the form
should.
of the general animal consciousness.
As they should.
They are one hive mind in the zoo, and we deserve whatever fate is brought upon us if they escape.
Harambe was our current day Jesus Christ. Okay,
You will never go to the zoo and look at a polar bear the same way again.
never.
I have not looked at a polar bear the same way again.
Hold on, wait a minute. Columbus Zoo time. So you said you've been to Columbus Zoo.
Yeah, it's all right.
There's a lot of walking. You were correct, but my kids loved it and they were tired afterwards. So I loved it.
Quiet time.
So we went to the Columbus Zoo, as you know, and they have a polar bear. exhibit.
Most do, yeah.
Not Fort Wayne,
Well,
probably because of the raptor lockdown. Indianapolis has one. Indianapolis Zoo has polar bears, and the Columbus Zoo has one. We saw them, and Noah was impressed. This had to have been the fattest fucking polar bear I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I have never been so ever not on edge staring at him.
They keep them fed. So
But here's the thing: even if they were filled to the brim and they escaped, they'd be like, boom, 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 boom. They'd fall over. Like that's that kind of shit that happens. Like there's no way that I would be scared of that polar bear. He'd take off. He'd be like, ugh. Oh,
those motherfuckers can still run 30 miles an hour, dude.
He's the fastest human alive.
Like, okay, like you're just sitting there looking at the polar bear. It's like swimming in the water. It's got the stupid beach ball on its belly. It's like, and you're just sitting there going, and it gives you that one look, and you're like, oh. Like it happens to me every time. Ever since she told me that story when I was like 16, 17, every time I've been to a zoo and I've seen a polar bear, I'll be like, oh, they're so cute. Like, look at, it's a baby polar bear. It's a puppy. And he'll give me one look and I'll be like, oh, that motherfucker's a killer.
It's the same thing though. People who keep monkeys.
Yeah.
I see
You
people,
deserve whatever fate comes your way if an
you wake up in the
orangutan
middle
rips your
of the
face
night
off.
and this fucking regular ape is just like strangling. Like, dude, you asked for that.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually got chased by an escaped animal at the Tokyo Zoo when I was a kid.
Tokyo Zoo.
You got chased. What
You're
animal?
telling me, you're telling me the animal standards in the habitat in keep isn't up to par in Tokyo?
I'm not gonna make this a generalization on any of Japan's animal welfare practices.
But their infrastructure is fucked.
But
Dolphin eat whale. You got fuck dolphin eat
I've
whale.
seen South Park, okay? Oh, the dolphins, they get absolutely
Dolphin
destroyed.
eat
You hate to see this in the first half.
Can you guys guess what animal it was?
I'm gonna guess
A peacock, a big peacock.
Yes.
I was gonna say a peacock.
Yep.
They're
Fucking
very
exactly.
aggressive.
They are fucking aggressive,
They're like
dude.
beasts, like the
They're like
meanest
chickens.
beasts.
Absolutely.
They're like chickens, dude.
Chickens are aggressive.
Dude, have you ever had
Clocks, master clocks.
Seth, none of us have raised chickens.
You guys have neither of you have raised chickens? Okay, I can
why
tell a
would
direct
we raise
story.
chickens?
Did I ever tell you guys about my robot chicken in the military hospital story?
No.
No,
man,
can I tell the chicken story real quick?
please do.
Tell me about chicken. Sorry.
Okay, what's the robot chicken story first?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, when I was like 13 years old, broke my arm skateboarding. Had to go to the ER, but family being in the military, went to the military hospital. Keep in mind that this was during still the height of the Iraq War. So I go in and there's all these guys who are in very terrible predicaments all around me. And in the middle of that waiting room, while I'm sitting there waiting for my broken arm to get seen, my phone goes off and I had it on max volume, forgetting that it was just a recording of me singing the Star Wars theme song with a chicken voice. So
With a chicken voice.
yeah,
This is
so-
recorded somewhere?
yeah, it was just
Tell
me.
me you
It
still
was
have
just.
this.
It was just
Tell me
me.
you have it.
It was just me recording myself for the
Please
ringtone.
tell me this exists.
Where
somewhere.
is this?
It's on an old Motorola Razor.
You still
We gotta
have
get this
the
phone.
Motorola
Get this
Razor?
phone.
I might sell it.
Hey, not to cut you off, but side note, next episode, we should all bring our old phones and play our voicemails and whatever we have saved in that phone. Like if you have voice memos.
I can't do that. I've spiked every phone.
Well, I have 3 of them, and I'd be curious to see what the fuck is on there.
I would be curious. To
I don't
see
have
some-
access to my original phone, but that would be the
What's
phone
a
to get hold of.
chicken voice?
Yeah, what's a chicken voice?
Well, basically, just in the middle of this fucking emergency room where there's veterans and active duty servicemen with their legs cut off and
PTSD.
shit. Yeah, well, their legs cut off and shit. You just hear a bark, 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 bark.
That
was your voicemail? How old were you?
It was my ringtone.
How old were you?
I think I was like 11 or 12.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's the intro to Robot Chicken right there. What he just said.
Exactly. And so, yeah, you just saw these guys who were like completely doubled over in pain just start like actually cracking a smile and laughing. And, like, it was actually, it turned out to be kind of a wholesome moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking epic.
Well, that's exactly what 11-year-olds should have.
It's in that data bank.
All right, you just.
I have one more chicken story.
Hit us.
So, who cares? You say who cares?
Lay it on me.
I said,
let's hear it.
I go,
What do you got?
who cares?
Seth, who cares? Seth has a fucking chicken story.
So-
Let's hear it. Oh, what do you got?
Okay, so growing up, I grew up, as you know, on the land that we fucking put all those Christmas lights on.
Uh-huh.
So we thought it was a good idea because of the rising price of food to get chickens.
Uh-huh.
And
You're going to handle your own slaughtering and...
well, that's those. I have now 4 stories that I can tell you.
Oh, God.
But the main story that I'm going after right now is we used to have, we'd have a group of hens because what you do is you don't have, what you think is like, okay, you have equal roosters to hens.
Cocks.
Quacks.
Clocks.
Quacks.
Master clocks.
Master quacks.
Master clocks. Okay.
So what you think is like you have chicken to hen ratio. No, you have 1 or 2 roosters. One is the alpha, and then you have the rest of the hens and all.
How
the
do you
roosters.
know?
Well, you don't
So
know.
anyway, Andrew Tate is
you don't
really
know-
the voice of a...
You don't know the difference between a.
Don't even-
Wait. I need to ask this question. You don't know the difference between a rooster and a hen?
What? No, I know the difference between a rooster and a hen.
Okay, that's why you said. How did you know the
gender.
difference?
That's a whole nother topic. Gender.
What are you talking about? The gender. The rooster is a male. There ain't no trans shit going on.
I'm just saying. I don't want to get us into trouble. But okay. So yes.
So you have a male and a female. Male is a rooster. Female is a hen.
Trans rights.
Trans rights. Sure,
Gotta
whatever.
get that on there. There you go. You pussy.
But so my little sister, right?
This better be a fucking hell of a story.
My little sister, she's swinging on the swing. She's swinging on the swing at home, and like we used to we had this big. She's like younger than me, whatever. All of a sudden, I'm up at the house helping my mom with something, and then we just hear blood curdling scream. We hear blood curdling scream.
It's your sister screaming.
It's my little sister screaming.
Okay.
We look out to the playpen, or like where like the play, like the swing, like the swings and everything are. There's this chicken just going fucking ham at my little sister. We called that chicken Rudy. We named our chickens. Rudy was a dickhead. Rudy the rooster, he walked up to Anna, did that whole chicken thing. I don't know if you ever seen chickens with like balk their head out and like poke his head out.
He's trying to establish dominance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. You guys have seen Napoleon Dynamite, yeah?
Yeah.
You know the part where Napoleon goes, he's at the chicken farm and he goes, "Do the chickens have large talons?" You know that part? That's a legitimate question.
Sure, they're birds.
Because like the roosters, they have a spur as their like thumb that they jump up, and when they jump up, they throw their spurs out.
Yeah.
My little sister's swinging on a swing. This chicken jumps at my sister, spur out, pierces a hole in her leg. I shit you not, that deep, like that wide.
Jesus Christ.
And probably about 2 inches deep.
Your sister got attacked by a chicken.
She got attacked by a chicken.
A cock.
I've heard that roosters are fucking aggressive.
They're
aren't
mean
they?
as fuck.
Yeah.
And so he's chasing her. So she takes off fucking running across the yard. She's screaming bloody murder. Mind you, we weren't talking about cats last time, were we?
I don't think so.
So we have this cat. This cat name was Respighi.
Yeah.
And this cat was a fucking badass. I'll tell the story of Respighi later. But you see Respighi jump out of the fucking side bush, comes sprinting up, side tackles this fucking full grown rooster, and pins this chicken down to get out of my little sister's way. She runs up to the house, bleeding profusely from her fucking right. She got hit right here, like right next to her fucking, like the front shin or the front calf, I guess, right next to the bone, speared straight in. She's bleeding down. Goes inside. We clean it up. She got this fucking hole in her leg. My dad comes home. He's like, "What the fuck?" My little sister goes, "I want Rudy dead." So my dad's like, "All right," grabs his fucking handgun, walks out. And the only thing I remember is saying, "Hey, Dad," looking out past the thing, and he goes, and that's all I hear. But dude, roosters are fucking mean.
So your dad shot this chicken.
Oh yeah. He had a fucking personal vendetta. Grow thumbs or something.
Oh my God. You guys want to talk movies?
Well, hold on now. I need another dart. So let's like.
Okay, we'll pause. We'll come. We'll dart it.
We'll come back and we have an intro. We can do the kablam thing.
Okay. All right.
All right, bye.
Big up the masses.
Assume the crash position. Hold on tight. Take a deep breath for a cartoon cramaganza.
Cramaganza.
There you go.
Yeah, you guys. He said that they unlocked some core memories he didn't know existed. Do you understand? Can you like?
Do you understand?
Do you know the song,
bro?
Like, does that,
bro,
You know, it's not
listen to me,
even
bro.
the song. I mean, it reminded me of just simpler times before 9/11.
Yes.
Before 9/11, when
Before
ska was.
When ska was like, yeah, we're so happy.
2001, but like, it's like all that time.
Yeah. So anyway, we're back. This next segment, we got to do a kind of like lead into this because we have to tell everybody that
context.
Right. We got to get some context here, which is Seth, you are a self-professed, you don't watch movies.
I don't watch movies. Okay. So I've seen like the basics, right? Like I've seen, of course, like, I've seen all of the Batman movies. I've seen
the basics.
I've seen the basics. I've seen Star Wars. I can talk to you for days about Star Wars.
We can do that. Yeah.
And then, there's the, what was I going to say?
If you say Twilight,
Twilight was some shit where I was just trying to get laid. But like,
word.
I think every guy who went to a girl who saw Twilight in theaters
bought the entire box set.
to get
Shut
laid.
the fuck up.
To get laid.
Actually, because my current girlfriend, who you guys know, I'll fucking name her, whatever, Kenzie, said that she would only say yes to being my girlfriend in the middle of a Twilight marathon, ironically. So I went and bought the full box set on Amazon that day and then had it playing on the TV when she came over the next day.
Jesus.
And yeah, we got together that day.
Good for you, man. Twilight, bringing people together.
For the past decade, it has been, bro.
But it was a simpler time. Like I've been telling people, like I've been binge watching the shit out of all that. Like
Yes.
the old all that.
I've been falling
And, like,
asleep to it.
You got Paramount Plus then?
Nah, bro, it's on Netflix.
Is it on? No, it's not.
All that?
Is it really?
Fuck yeah, it is.
But like,
anyway,
it's still a good show.
It's still a good show. Like okay, growing up and like this was a thing that I unlocked recently. I didn't understand all of the different like humor that my personal humor derives from until I started watching some of this old shit.
And you're having realizations like, that's why
it's all based in this.
Oh,
Like,
mine's simple. It's just
welcome to the Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Mine's like basically, it's mostly like 80% of what I say is like just Anchorman quotes. It's just pretty.
Well, but then even you said it's like I told you I was like yeah, I watched the episode today, right? I'm repairman, man. And he was like, oh, repairman, yes. And there was the old man who fucking was like climbing the tree for the kitty. He's just like, oh, I just want to go home and take a bubble bath. And you're just like, no, I got to get my kitty. And like, there's that whole segment. And then Lori Beth Dinberg with completely useless information. And she's just like,
happened to her?
She's like, if you're going to count your chickens, don't count your chickens like this. 1 chicken, 2 chicken, 3 chicken. And you're just like, that's hilarious. That's funny.
I can't believe that was a kid's show.
Oh yeah.
Well, then it was avant-garde ass Adult Swim.
Yeah. It's pre-Adult Swim. It was like Adult Swim before Adult Swim.
That's why they did so well. Yeah. And like the one thing that like I remembered from my childhood that stayed true to what my adult brain is it was Kenan Thompson, who's on obviously Kenan and Kel, and he's on SNL. Uh-huh. He did that segment where he's in the bathtub and he's got the yellow hat and this raincoat on, and he starts speaking in French.
Yeah,
we're like I didn't notice this until I was an adult. He is clearly reading. There's like they threw a French term up in front of him, and he doesn't speak French. So he's like omelette du crève fermiche du refache ami. my balloon smells like roast beef. And like that shit is hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like that was always something that was my favorite part of that shit.
But so we're doing a movie segment because
I don't watch movies.
You don't watch movies, but you're hoping that, like me and Logan can turn you on to some good movies.
Yeah, like I want to become more of a movie fanatic.
Okay.
And like
I don't know that we're gonna make you a movie fanatic, but we'll get you some good movies.
Sure.
Okay. So the way that we're gonna do this segment, we kind of talked this out, is like, so here's kind of the rules. Okay, right? Like, we could just give Seth a list of movies, but he's gonna have the same problem, which is like, where do you start?
It'll go to the same thing that all the rest of my movies that you should watch go to.
Right.
Is the list of movies that everyone tells me I should watch and I'm never gonna watch.
So in an attempt to narrow it down and give him like, just like one, this is the one you should watch. What we're gonna do is Logan and I have narrowed it down to 1 or 2 movie recommendations apiece. We've already talked to Seth to make sure we ran the movie titles by him, and he's never heard of them. Okay, right? So now what we're gonna do is Logan and I are each gonna pitch a movie. Okay, a short pitch. This is what the movie's about, kind of like a verbal trailer. And then based on the pitch, Seth is gonna choose one. There's no winner. You don't get a prize for having the best pitch. But, if you think the movie's... So anyway, then Seth is going to watch the movie and he's going to come back to us
next week,
or maybe in a couple weeks, however long it takes him to watch it. And
That'll
he's
be
gonna,
next week.
And he's going to give us his Seth review. He's going to give us his score. Seth is going to...
personal review.
So it's like, it's a movie review from someone who's not a movie person, so it can't be biased by any kind of like pretentious. He's not like a film school major or something like that.
I'm just some guy.
Right? It's like, he's just a normal dude. He's going to tell you if he thinks it's good or not and why. And if you haven't seen it, maybe you'd want to watch it. Okay. All right. So we got it narrowed down. You want to rock, paper, scissors to see who pitches first, or do you want to go?
I say on there.
No, he's using his balls.
Let's do a Rochambeau real quick.
Ready?
Right. Okay. So
on 3?
Yeah.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors.
No. It's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay,
go on, shoot.
That's my fault.
Okay. Rock, scissors, shoot.
They both did scissors.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Logan got paper with Kyle's rock.
Okay. So, all right. So I lose. So I pitch first.
All right.
Wait, no, I thought he would pitch first because he won.
I'll give you the choice. You won. Do you want to pitch first?
I'll take a little bit more time to collect.
Okay.
Okay, he's
I'll
going to
pitch
defer.
first. Okay. So my movie, I guess technically, if you had to put it in a genre, is a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie.
Okay.
It's just a weird, freaking psychological, like mind fuck type
about
movie.
it.
Okay. Right. All right. So this girl who Florence Pugh, who plays Scarlett Johansson's sister, as the other like.
Also, every actor and actress you're going to tell me, I'm going to look at you and
like,
nod, but I'm going to be like, okay, great.
Okay, so this blonde girl, this pretty blonde girl, okay, right? She's a college student. At the start of the movie, it's very clear to her that she's at college. She has a boyfriend. You meet the boyfriend. He seems nice. It seems like she's got a good, stable group of friends. She's going to school, but she's always being contacted by her sister. And you really don't know a lot about the sister other than the fact that, like, the context of these contacts. So it's text messages, it's voicemails, and her sister is clearly mentally. She's very depressed. She's threatening suicide, all this crazy stuff. And you get the sense that at the very start of the movie that, like, the family has had to, like, take action to take care of the sister. The sister is that bad.
Okay.
And the sister is not too far removed in age. The two aren't that different in age. Mm-hmm. Right. You don't really know if she's
childhood.
So, okay. So then all of a sudden, two things happen simultaneously. The boyfriend, him and his buddies from college are planning a summer backpacking study abroad trip to some summer solstice type of festival in Sweden. Okay. One of the friends in the friend group is a Swedish exchange student. Come back to my country. We're all history majors or archaeology majors or whatever they are, and you guys can come and experience this festival with me.
This isn't hostile, is it?
No, and at the end you can use it as material for your thesis.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. At the same time that they're kind of telling you about this trip, the main girl's sister goes off her rocker. She kills herself and her parents in their house.
What?
The main girl's alone. She all of a sudden overnight has no family.
Jesus.
Her boyfriend is now her only family. Okay. So a couple weeks
throws up some red flags.
A couple months go by, right? And clearly over this time, he's done everything that he can do to console her.
Sure.
He's at the end of his rope. She won't leave her apartment. She won't shower. She won't, open the drapes. She's a recluse. She's just so destroyed by this. And you can clearly tell that he's frustrated. He doesn't know what else to do. Well, all of a sudden it comes time to leave for the trip. So he's got to leave. And she freaks out. I can't be alone. I have no one else. My family's gone. And so in a moment of pity, he goes, well, come with us.
Ooh.
Okay. So she comes with him. Right. And the friends are kind of like, what? And like, we thought it was going to be a guy's trip, but fine. Like, we get it. Like, it's whatever. So they're fine with it. So they go over to Sweden to this festival. And this is where shit starts to get nuts. At first, these people, you like, it turns out it's not really a festival as much as like, it's a weird town that hosts this festival.
Almost like a cult.
And everybody there is kind of weird. They're nice enough, but they're foreign-y weird where they have their own customs and their own things, and they're overly friendly and they want to hug you and kiss you right away. And there's all these weird rituals that you got to do. And, the women do the cooking, but the men do the wood chopping type of thing.
Okay.
And so these, all of a sudden, like, you're like, oh, this is weird. And like immediately shit just goes off the rails. Like something awful happens at this thing to like kick off this festival. And like, it just spirals out of control from there to the point where at the very end of the movie, you just kind of like leave the movie going like, I am never going to Sweden.
Okay. So an anti-Sweden movie. Okay.
So it's called Midsummer.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah. It's kind of a culty, kind of like underground.
Culty. Yeah. Midsummer. Okay. Midsummer for the first one.
So kind of, it's again, you'd call it a horror movie, but it's really more of a thriller, kind of like a, what the fuck?
Sure.
Okay.
I can see that. Logan.
So I have it narrowed down to 2, and I'm feeling that my summaries will be a little bit shorter.
That's
because
fine.
I do not have the memory that Kyle does.
Kyle's he is a beast.
Beast.
He is a creature, man.
So these are 2 movies that I think are really, maybe it's pretentious to say, but important watches, in ones that you'll walk away from happy to have seen, but not necessarily something that you will
ever want to see again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's put it this way. When I was in film school, I know the one movie that you're going to recommend.
Yep.
Is like the second or third movie that you have you watch your freshman year.
Oh.
As like a kind of like, you think you've seen movies. You haven't seen movies. Like,
okay.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you've heard of Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yes.
The director.
Oh, wait. No. What's the Cooper dude that I've heard of? There's the actor.
Oh, Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, on the other hand. Yeah, he is a very famous director. He's done The Shining, 2001, A Space Odyssey, Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket, Doctor Strange.
I'm on board with this.
Yeah. So, A Clockwork Orange. Essentially, it takes place in futuristic Britain, and it centers around a gang of ruffians, and the leader of which, who is essentially a psychopath with a tendency for the old ultraviolence, which leads to depictions of some very harrowing crimes, very forthrightly filmed. Basically, like the most depravity that you can imagine being committed directly there on film. After that, he gets institutionalized, where essentially all of this is used against him, where he is tried, where they try to reform him. And so it is almost half visual study, because Kubrick's fucking directorial style is just so singular. And like, dude, the shots, not even just the shots, but the combination of the score and the shots are so fucking profound. It's some of the first completely synth-centric soundtrack to have ever hit the mainstream. And so it set the tone for what futurism really was, while also just showing like a complete, almost caveman-esque fucking depravity, and contrasting that with this very futuristic, forward-thinking directorial style.
So you're more watching the movie, not so much for the plot line, but you're watching it for the creative ability from the director of the shots and the dialogue and more so of the ability to show a different. I would guess maybe even like audio and lighting styles that are artistic enough that depicts the story in a way that has you going, and like almost like, so like you're not even in it so much as like the actual storyline itself. You're going more so as like, okay, so I see where he's where the director is going with this, and I want to continue because of how the director is depicting the story. Is that?
I would say it's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're in this. You're less concerned about the story because the story's kind of simple. You're more just like watching the movie, going, "God, this is wild! Like this guy created this whole world. Like this is bizarre."
It's complete immersion in suspension of disbelief, essentially.
Yeah.
I will say, between the two stories. Sorry, Kyle. I'm more leaning towards Clockwork Orange.
I don't blame you.
Oh, it's a fucking classic,
list.
man.
Yeah,
From what,
my list.
1968, 1970?
It's
Something like
okay. To me, it's the most approachable of the Kubrick movies.
that. Yeah.
The
Aside
other,
from The Shining.
the Shining's okay, but
I've seen The Shining.
'cause
I've
it's
seen
like-
both iterations of The Shining.
The Shining is cool, but to me, it's the least Kubricky of Kubrick movies
Fair assessment.
because it's very realistic, with the exception of some of these crazy shots like the blood coming from the tub and all
And
that
the
kind of shit.
twins center,
Yeah.
center shot.
But outside of those, the rest of the movie, it's a normal world. This is the real world. It's not putting you in a different place. Full Metal.
There's some fucking shit that happened. I've seen Full Metal Jacket too.
Full Metal Jacket's kind of the same way.
You
Except
only
it's more
watch
of
that.
like
You only watch Full Metal Jacket for the first like 25
just
minutes.
Yep.
and the dialogue in that movie is stellar.
After that, it kind of wanes off.
Okay, so you're gonna watch Clockwork Orange.
Between the two, I thought
No. That's we narrow it down to two, and then we choose which one we're gonna pick.
I thought you guys were gonna.
No.
Do
We're not gonna
apiece.
throw 4 at you. We're just gonna throw 2 at you. Make it simple.
Then between the two, I'm definitely going with
Okay,
Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange it is. Oh Jesus, welcome.
Oh, man.
Welcome
Oh,
to
right.
this fucking
This is-
shit.
This is going to be an interesting first
Yeah,
dive
yeah,
in.
yeah.
I'm
Is it going to
really,
be an interesting one?
yeah,
Watch it with the captions on.
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you now, it is going to be a difficult watch at some points.
Guys, I really need to become more of an audio or a movie file because like I was like
The references
we'll get you
just
through the
ain't
list.
hitting.
the references.
Hey, it's just so
don't
everybody,
land.
just so everybody at home knows, if you are a movie person, this is kind of like what we got going on. The other recommendation that Logan had was going to be Requiem for a Dream, which him and I kind of talked about, and like that is not an easy. If you're not a movie person, to jump right into that, that's a
What
little
was
much.
your other one? I'm curious.
The other one I was going to recommend, which is I'll probably recommend next week, would be No Country for Old Men.
I've started Old Country for No Man.
That's a
and I fell
Old
asleep.
Country for No Men.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I've started that movie and I did not finish because I fell asleep within the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah, because it was boring.
It's
or?
boring.
Wow, then you got an uphill battle. You got enough. So Requiem, No Country for Old Men. There's also some obvious stuff on the list, like I don't know if you've seen like there's some cinephile, like this isn't a real pretentious list. I have some stuff on here, like if you've never seen the puppet movie that the guys from South Park did called Team America.
I've seen Team America.
Team America's on here. Sin City.
I've never seen Sin City.
If you've never seen The Quick and the Dead with Gene Hackman, if you've never watched like the American series with Kerry Russell that was on FX, Gangs in New York, Goodfellas.
Nope.
So it's not just a bunch of pretentious like
I will
super film
say,
school movies.
Team America is one of those movies I watched in high school on repeat. That was like that movie that we put on like the end of the night. We've all done all of our shit. And like we all got to go to bed because we got to get up because the parents are going to be up. We just turn on fucking Team America.
I'm
like,
forgetting
fuck yeah.
to say the motherfucking day, yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So there's movies like that on here, and then
Freedom
there's,
is the only way.
and there's some other wild stuff on here, like Prisoners is on here, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
Nope.
Zodiac's on here, The Prestige, The Revenant is fucking wild with Leonardo. Have you seen that?
Have not
Where
yet.
he's in the woods with Tom Hardy and he gets attacked by that bear.
Nope.
That's crazy. Clockwork Orange is on here. Full Metal Jacket's on here.
Yep.
Have you seen Moneyball with Brad Pitt?
Nope.
That's the greatest baseball movie ever done. The Town, where Ben Affleck is an armored car bank robber with Jeremy Renner. That's that clip you see online where Ben Affleck walks in that room and Jeremy Renner's watching TV and he goes, "I need to ask you to do something, but you can never tell anybody about it. And we can never talk about it again." And Jeremy Renner's like, "I'm in."
So basically, if you were to ever ask me to do
Yeah. So it's that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of spread it out. We're not just going to throw weird shit at you.
Cool.
But come back. If you're listening to this, we're trying to think of something to call Seth's movie rating.
Right.
Siskel and Ebert, they got their 2 thumbs up. Rotten Tomatoes has got their tomato score.
We're thinking right now on a measure of to 7 a daggers.
7 a daggers.
7 a daggers.
Like if he comes back and he's like 7 a daggers, that was a good movie.
We know that's a 10 out
like
of
that's
10.
a bomb movie. Like you need to go see that movie.
Right. I would go see that back in theaters.
You need to see it.
And tune in next week to find out the context behind Seven a Daggers.
Oh yeah, that's a next.
7 a Daggers.
That's a whole other story.
We might have to add a 4th microphone for that.
God. All right, everybody. That's all I got. You guys got anything else?
No,
Wrap it up.
I think this was a pretty. I think it was more of a tame episode in regards to humor, but I think it is more of. It was a very informative. I think we got some notes.
My grandpa fucking Nazi sympathizers
That was a great
wasn't.
Story.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess that's kind of tame.
That was a great. That's tame as fuck.
Chicken attacks.
Yeah, it's cool.
The back and
Mystery shitters.
forth. Mystery shitters.
shits.
Who are these shitters? Who are?
But hey, again, anybody listening, and I encourage you to at this point. We're thinking about adding video. We're thinking about adding a couple things. We just need a little bit more traction. So if you guys have anybody that you think would enjoy the first one, the second one, any of these, we encourage you to pass it on. Yeah. We're just a couple dudes. We want a lot of feedback because we would like to be better and we'd like to be more entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for Logan for being on here and joining us tonight, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We got him way
time.
past his bedtime. We got to get this guy out of here.
But thank everybody who's listened to this. Thank you for your time, dude.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Bye.